What's up, graphic designers? In today's class, we're going to use photopea to create, let's say, we'll call it a painting using the brush tool to create a house, some grass, maybe a tree or two. Alternatively, you can be creative as long as we're adhering to rule number 2, which we remember is to work hard. And so, what do we do? How does this work? Where do we start? We're going to use the brush tool. The brush tool is this little brush looking icon right beneath that band-aid. Alternatively, you can press the letter B on your keyboard, and what I know is that the foreground color, which is the color in that square in the upper left hand corner at the bottom of the toolbar, indicates the color of the brush itself, and we can swap it, as you'll see right here. And so now it's green, and this looks cool. I'm going to undo this by pressing Command Z, Command Z, Command Z, and we're going to start from square one. And I think the first thing that we're going to want to do is get a sky, right? And so I'm going to start painting the sky. Uh-oh, this is going to take forever. Forever. All right. We want to increase the size. To increase the size, we're going to increase the diameter to, let's try it, 600 and something pixels, and that looks cool. And so here's what I know. We now know how to change the size, but we can also change the hardness. Well, what does that look like? Well, the hardness, if we're at 236, it looks a little something like this, right? But if we drop the hardness from 100% down to 0, it's going to be a lot softer. And so it's going to evoke a different reaction in your viewer. And so what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to lighten this up a tad, and I'm going to press OK. I'm going to increase the diameter like so, but it's softer now. Wow, that looks pretty cool. I like that. All right, so we started the background, and this looks pretty nifty right here. But what I also know is that this sky is on the background layer. What we need to do, and what you've got to do, is create a new layer for every element that you're including in this work of art that you're going to produce shortly. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to start this house, and maybe we'll have like a nice kind of beige house. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to right click. I'm actually going to increase the hardness to, I don't know, 93%. I'm going to drop the size of the brush from 200 something to like 38. And here we've got our house. We need a roof. It's pitched, and I'm going to change the color now. I'll switch the foreground background. Actually, we'll get a nice dark color. We got something that looks a little bit like this, and actually, there we go. Yikes. Alright, so I know that we're drawing this, however, that the walls don't look super straight, neither does any element of this house so far, but because it's on its own layer, what we can do is delete this, or simply hide it by clicking that eye. That's new. And then I'm going to create a new layer, and instead what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that beige color once more, and I'm going to click once, and then I'm going to hold shift and click again, and now all of a sudden we've got nice straight lines. That looks pretty cool. Okay, and you can include a nice door, some windows. That looks pretty fancy, and then we can we can color it in. All right, so we're not limited to just these brushes. That's right, there's more that we can do. And if you'll notice, when you right click, we've got these brushes underneath, and we can do something that looks a little bit like this, and that looks cool. But if we click this little down arrow, we can add ABR files. Those are brush files. We've got pencils, and hold up, we've got trees. I'm going to click trees. The brushes are added. I'm going to right click, and now all of a sudden we've got this cool tree right here. So I'm going to select a nice deep green. I'm going to increase. No, that's actually as big as you can create it. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to right click. I'm going to try a different tree, and I'm going to situate one. Let's have one right here. That looks awesome. And now we're going to add some grass. You're probably thinking, all right, Dros, that's cool. How do we add grass? Well, I'm going to make sure that we create a couple new layers, and before we do anything else, and we need to add this ABR file. So check this out, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to right click. I'm going to click this down arrow, and it says load ABR. That's cool. And here we've got this file, the zip file. It says grass Photoshop brushes. It just said loading. It just said brush added. That's cool. I'm going to right click, I'm going to drop down, and now I can see, wow, we've got all these cool brushes that we can apply, and I'm going to lighten it up just a tad. We'll experiment right there. Because we're in a new layer, we can always try that out later. Wow, that looks awesome. And actually, I'm gonna click here. Actually, you know what? We could have this grass on fire. We could, oops. Well, this is what black grass would look like. All right, so that's kind of cool. And then if we want grass behind the house, what we can do, I'm learning. And so we can see where this is situated now. I'm going to drag this beneath the grass. I'm going to right click. But before we can right click, I'm going to press the letter B to pull the brush tool. And we're going to right click. We're going to select another brush. And we'll get a fun color. I'm super excited to see what you guys are able to produce today. That looks weird. And you know what? I was not on a new layer, so I'm going to make sure that we're on a new layer. And it's beneath the house. And that looks kind of cool. You can color in the house. You can make a little chimney, a smokestack. I cannot wait to see your work. Good luck.